Welcome to Minority Caucus on this very bold and brazen Wednesday. My name is Nana Kofi Opondama. Today, the NPP opened its court case, and then what we can see is that the case has been made and all of us are happy. What are your impressions of what Dr. Mohamed Bawumia said today in the witness stand? What we need to understand is that what we have said is just our case. We have just presented our case and we are seeking to traverse what it is that the NPP, the NDC and the EC are putting forward as their affidavits. But today with me is a whittled down panel of what it is that we wanted to have. But yes, you can join us in the discussion very soon. My name, as usual, is Nana Kofi Opondama once again. I'm in the studio with Salam Mustafa, a member of the NPP communications team, as well as Eugene Mafu. Gentlemen, welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very, very much. Now, what are your impressions of what happened in court today, Salam?
Well, first of all, let me say good evening to the viewers of Minority Caucus. I think that today has been a very wonderful day. The NPP, for that matter, the petitioners, opened the case, presenting to the whole world what is it that we had and went to court. And it's been thrilling. I've had series of calls from people who otherwise did not understand what we were talking about. But Dr. Bawumia's presentation has clearly shown to the world what the NPP has been talking about. And for me, it's been a very wonderful day and a history-making day as well, because it's a landmark case. It's never been, seen in Ghana before. So to the extent that we have been able to go to court, people say we couldn't go, and have been able to provide such, gargantuan evidence to support our case is marvelous for me. So for me today, it's a great day, and I believe that all NPP supporters will be very proud of the party and our ability to work around the clock to raise such huge amount of evidence to support ourselves in court. I am also of the very strong conviction that this is about the most forensic post-electoral audit that any party has done in the world, because I cannot think of anywhere in the world that elections have been held, people are not happy with the results and have challenged it and have taken time to meticulously look at every single detail of the elections. I think it's a pat on our backs, and we should be proud as a party that we have been able to chart, such a cause. It adds a lot of credence to the party and enriches Ghana's democracy at large that we have been able to do such a marvelous job. Indeed, looking at the array of evidence that we have put forward, indeed, in the presentation, I happened to, I was coming to the town and I heard people screaming, 500,000 power votes. I was like, well, people are now beginning to, wake up to reality of the, immense irregularities that went on in the 2012 elections that at the end of the day turned out a wrong winner of the polls. I've said before, elections are not about those who queue and vote, decide nothing, but those who sit somewhere and count, decide everything. Democracy, Abraham Lincoln defined as democracy for the people, of the people, and by the people. At any day, democracy is about the people, the interest of the people. That's why we call it a representative democracy. We cannot practice the Antonian democracy where every single person would come and sit, around the tree and let's take decisions. But it's representative because we are in multitudes of numbers running into millions, and all of us cannot come and converge at one point to take decisions. Therefore, we delegate such responsibilities to other persons to exercise on our behalf. So in that matter, there is no reason why the voice of the people should be denied, circumvented in the interest of some other persons.
Okay. Eugene, coming to you, what exactly is your opinion on what you saw in court today?
Well, Nana, thank you very much again, and good evening to your viewers. Today was a good day in court, and I believe it was the first day where our first witness was put on the stand to present his evidence in chief. And if there ever was a time when Dr. Baumia appeared to was in control and educated the people of Ghana as well as the members of the bench on what our case was, I think today was the day. He was clear with his numbers, he was clear with his instances, he was clear with his explanation. And one thing that struck me during his presentation was when he said, in an instance where there are mistakes, a party will say, oh, these were anomalies, but that same party refuses to accept that the entirety of the results was anomalous. And by the time he finished today, one had no doubt that we had a concrete case in front of us. But beyond that, Nana, let me just make some few points about our case.
I hope nothing is subject to
No. There is that phase of widespread irregularities, which we use in voting without biometric verification, stuff like that. Widespread irregularities. It's just a synonym for rigging. These irregularities were executed by human beings. There are procedures which are to ensure that when the outcome of the elections are arrived at, there will be no contentions by parties. That is why structures, measures, and laws are made to govern the conduct of the election, so that at the end of the day, all members of the electorate will not be denied their franchise. So when at the end of the day or at the end of the elections, it is seen that there were widespread irregularities, flouting of the law that governs voting, for instance, biometric verification, and it is widespread. Let us not forget that authentication of a voter is done by a human being with the assistance of the machine. So where in so many places it comes out that aspect of authentication, that aspect of the electoral process, which will ensure sanity in the outcome of the results, has been tampered with, and you equate it to widespread irregularities. I'm sorry, it is the same as rigging, and that is what happened during the elections. I am glad that the people of Ghana have had faith with the NPP and with the democratic process of this country, and they have witnessed political maturity in taking the case to court instead of doing what others would have done by wearing fighters' smocks and moving to the Electoral Commission. So I think that what happened today was good. We did a good presentation, and there are good things in the pipeline to come.
Okay, so what exactly has been happening in the courts of Ghana? For those of you who've not had that much time to watch exactly what has been going on, we have a very short video clip that we're going to show you, and then we'll address some of these issues. I'm still trying to decide as to showing you some of these documents and whether it is sub judice or not. I was hoping to have a lawyer in the studios tonight, but it is not happening, so I'm still trying to decide. If worst case scenario, I'll take a decision at the last moment, and then we'll be able to tell what has gone on. But precisely, what shocked you most about the case that the NPP presented in court? Whilst you think about that, let's see the video.
It's been a fair day. The judges were really primed to start the case, and I think that it's a good day for us. I mean, the attempt to ask for an adjournment has been curbed to just a day. The judges said that in the interest of wider justice, they should be given a day. So tomorrow, we expect that this case will start. I can understand, a party saying that I want the affidavit and others so that we know what to do. But really, I mean, this is affidavit evidence. So the affidavits which have been admitted in, they are part of the evidence. So for us, we expect that like tomorrow we'll open up and we have to cross-examine wherever we'll introduce affidavits. That's it.
We have at all times been ready to begin this process, and the courts have also indicated that they are ready. But what astonished me was the fact that after the CJ had given administrative directions that we should invite cameras in the room, the court, were a little bit apprehensive about that. So they invited lawyers from all sides to speak to that. And the general consensus was that it is good for our democracy, it is good for common sense, and that Ghana's democracy will be enriched by televising the proceedings live.
Welcome back. So that is what has been going on in the courts, the opinions of the various people that have been in the courtroom and what it is that they've been telling the people of Ghana. Again, I was asking a question before we went on break, that what has shocked you most about the presentation of Dr. Bawumia Salam? Let's begin with you.
Maybe for me, it is not a surprise because I have been involved in the process, massing up the evidence for court. But for most people who have been shocked at the quantum of irregularities, it is about the issue of overvoting. Initially, a lot of people didn't understand when we said overvoting took place. Indeed, today, in the course of the day, I've had cause to hear some people talking about ballot stuffing rather than overvoting. Indeed, it's a matter of semantics and confusion in the minds of people. Overvoting comes in two forms. When you have a polling station and the votes are more than the number of people registered to that polling station. That's one instance of overvoting. And when you have a polling station where the number of votes is more than the number, where you find the number of votes in the box, more than the number of ballots issued, that is an instance of overvoting. And this is extremely widespread in the 2012 elections. Indeed, both cases of where votes exceed the number of people registered in a polling station, they are widespread. So it's becoming an issue of semantics, people talking about ballot stuffing and overvoting. But let the principle remain that when even one ballot is added to what is in a box, it dents the credibility of the polls. And so many instances, polls have been cancelled in polling stations because there have been incidents of overvoting in those polling stations.
Now, Eugene, were you surprised at the attempts of opposing counsel to suppress some form of evidence along the hearing today?
No. I know this is serious state, but I even wonder why the NDC is still the NDC President Mahama and the EC are contesting this case, unless of course it's a formality. The evidence is there. And, if you read their responses, we admit it, and then they give an excuse. It was true, but then they give an excuse. The evidence is there. There is nothing to challenge. We have a case. They know it. And as for me, I will urge them to just throw in the towel and then accept what the Supreme Court will do. Okay. But but even before I continue, Nana, let me just make a little observation of today's proceedings. I realize, today, the wisdom behind the NPP proposing the use of PowerPoint presentation, I think, was made manifest today at the Supreme Court. You realize that when Dr. Bawumia was presenting commenting on the pink sheets, talking about the serial numbers and stuff like that, the judges as well as the opposition lawyers were having difficulty in following what we're doing. And I am a little bit uncomfortable with this kind of phobia for modern technology.
The courts have traditionally been known to be terribly conservative when it comes to matters like this. But I'll take a break at this stage, and when we come back, we'll open the phone lines as well as show you some of these documents. Believe me, you want to see them. Welcome back to Minority Caucus. Now, I just want to be able to show you some of the things that are beginning to come out in the court. And these are official court documents that have been filed, and so we take it as a matter of record that they have become public documents as well. Now, what we are trying to do is to show you exactly what is happening. This I have in my hand is the affidavit of Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia. Now, I'm going to read to you point 18 of what he captured in the affidavit. That the scrutiny of some of the voter ID numbers supposedly belonging to some of these foreign registered voters could not be found on the general voters register. I repeat that. The scrutiny of some of these voter ID numbers supposedly belonging to some of these foreign registered voters could not be found in the general voters register. Point 1. That is to say, they were all fake identities. Number 2, these fake identities also had multiple names in them in a unique pattern. For most of them, the pattern was to add 1 or to subtract 1 from the 5th digit of the ID number and subtract 2 from the last digit of the ID number. I'll jump to point 19. The second respondent also placed duplicate names far apart from each other, suggesting that the second respondent sought to hide these duplicates and make their detection difficult. For instance, one Abdul Basit Ibrahim, now listen to this name, Abdul Basit Ibrahim was placed on 11th on the list, whilst the second Abdul Basit Ibrahim was placed on 465th on the list. What I have in my hand, the other document, and this, if the cameras can capture, is affidavits that was sworn by the Electoral Commission. So what what I'm saying now, or what I'm going to read to you now, is not from the NPP, is a document of the Electoral Commission itself. You can see clearly that it's the affidavit of the Electoral Commission itself. Now, I want to show you a very interesting thing. Now, you remember the name that was given to you, Abdul Basit Ibrahim. Take a look at this. See, that's Abdul Basit Ibrahim. Now take a look at the last 2 digits. You can see 78. Abdul Basit Ibrahim 78. And this is the Electoral Commission's own document. Now let's go to the next one. You can see clearly that I'm turning the pages. And take a look. Again, it's Abdul Basit, but look at the number, the last 2 digits. That's 70. 70. And so in effect, what has happened is that the Electoral Commission has confirmed the allegations that we put out against them as regards this particular matter. There are lots of these instances, but for fear of being in contempt of court, I'm not going to go any further in these discussions. As and when the discussions progress, we'll begin to show you more and more of what is happening. But you can join us on the phone lines at this stage on 030-2211-701 through to 4. I repeat that, 030-2211-701 through to 4. But when you see these things and then you see the back and forth going in court, and I am particularly worried about the dangerous commentary that some people like Asiru Nketia and, shockingly, Nana Todazi are running. How do you feel?
You see, I get sad when these people begin to make commentary. It's absolute sub judice because they pump extremely erroneous, ideas into the public domain. And for me, it's very, very distasteful that these persons who should know better engage in rather, cheap and, for the want of a better word, senseless talk. Nana Kofi, the burden of proof lies with the petitioners. Therefore, in the case, the burden of proof lies with us, and all involved in the case should wait for the petitioners to advance the cause of the litigation. But you have people who try to circumvent the entire process by prejudicing the case already. I've heard in recent times that, the Supreme Court doesn't have the power to overturn the result. But that is an absolute falsity. The Supreme Court is the law. If you look at the judicial system, they are the custodians of the law. They interpret the law. Whatever they say is final. I'm sure you would remember that prior to the commencement of the case, before then, our law stated that an individual can challenge the validity of, a president-elect by filing a petition. When we did so, the NDC as a party, prior to that, wouldn't have been able to join the case. But as they filed a joinder to be part of the case, interestingly, the judges granted and they joined the case. That is the power of the Supreme Court. Whatever they say is final. On this same platform, I've mentioned before, in America in the year 2000, the final determination was done at the Supreme Court when there was a problem in Florida between Bush and Al Gore. And you remember that George Bush's brother was then governor of the state of Florida. So the Democrats took extreme exceptions to issues that happened in Florida. And they ended up at the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court did their determination. Indeed, other jurisdictions that have had elections overturned have all done so through the Supreme Court. So why do we in this country think that we can probably twist the hands of the judges from delivering justice? If the Supreme Court judges can uphold the election of John Dramani Mahama, why can't they overturn it? Simple and pure logic. But you see, let's forgive the propaganda. Sometimes I forgive them if it's ignorant. But when it's borders on propaganda, then I begin to get, a little bit jittery and, very, very unpardonable. Because these are people who ought to have some clout and merit, and when they talk, it should carry weight. But when they begin to, wallow in the realm of absurdity, then we should begin to get worried that, as a country, we are beginning to fail ourselves. But looking at the issues as we have presented, the categories we have presented: overvoting, voting without biometric verification, same serial codes, duplicates, and look at the number of votes that it affects. It tells you clearly that if you are dealing with 500,000 votes and an election that is determined by percentages, 500,000 votes would definitely affect the outcome of the results. That's
a very solid point that you're making there. Let me remind viewers that you can join us in this discussion on 03022 11701224. I'd repeat that as I always do. 0302211701224. And I have my first caller. That was sharp. Lawal, how are you doing?
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm calling from Boku.
Yes, boss.
I want to congratulate you guys on how you are handling the issues this evening. Congratulations.
Thank you.
What I want to say, hello?
Yes, sir, we are listening.
Yeah, what I want to say is that Ghanaians in totality have actually seen what the Mr. Mahmoud Bawumia has presented in court. And to me, I think that the judgment, Ghanaians should be the judges. Even though these are just 9 people we are talking about. Ghanaians should judge based on what the man has presented in court.
Okay.
We have a case, and we are not going back.
Thank you very much. Thank you also for your submission. Sammy, how are you doing?
I'm fine, and I've been trying to remember for so many programs I can't get to, but today.
By God's grace, you are on today.
Yeah. Imagine the good job that you are doing. I'm trying to say, so encourage your supporters not to listen to any notification apart from a management, if you can do that. Or encourage your who go to next week to do that. Because that the so-called student Ketia is doing. For me, it's watching him on the TV. How he was so hurried to make a comment. They're talking about the issue, and he's making a reference to yesterday. What is part and wrong? And look at, I'm very sorry about it, and after that.
Okay.
You can't present people on the other platform to go to different Ghana.
Okay.
So, do your best and educate Ghanaians about this issue.
Thank you very much. Abu, welcome.
I'm Abu Gray.
Oh, okay, Abu Gray, sorry. Good evening, Chief. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you too?
By His grace, we are doing well. course. It's a very sad situation. We've managed to lose Mr. Abugi on the line. But you can also join us on 030-2211-701224. I want to hear you. I want to hear what it is that you feel about the submissions that were made in court today. But just to round up, Michael, how are you? Hello? Do I have Michael on the line?
Yeah.
Can you please turn down the volume on your set?
Yeah, I'm speaking from Tamale.
Yes, boss.
But I want to know if when we open the affidavit of the NDC and the Electoral Commission, can it be different from that of the NPP?
Well, what I know, what I understand is that, yes, it has to be different. Our affidavit is our case, and their affidavit, essentially, to my understanding, will have to be their responses to the issues that we have raised.
Okay. Another thing I want to know is the pink sheet in which we had our evidence from. Can it be different from that of the NDC?
Well, here's the thing. It's a duplicate system that we are running, so it should be the same. If that issue comes up, I believe that a good Supreme Court will find a way of resolving it.
Okay, if it is NPP's pink sheet is different from that of the NDC, and the NDC's pink sheet is the same with that of Afarijan, what will be the judgment of the judges over there?
I cannot tell what the judgment of the court would be, because that would be entering into sub-judice matters. But I believe that the court is experienced, the court knows exactly what it is doing, and they will take those decisions as and when they come up. Thank you very much, Michael, for your submissions today. You out there as well, join us on this conversation and tell us what you think. My next caller is online. How are you?
Fine. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Chief. What's up?
King Kabus from Yeni municipality.
Yes, boss.
In fact, Dr. Mahmoud Baumia really tell Northerners that he's from Northern region. He proved to the Ghanaians that he's from Northern region. Northern would never tell lies. And today he has been to the court, submit his evidence to the court that really what he saying is not that they are saying by the mouth. The other time he came to Tamale, he told people from Tamale that the evidence that we are holding, even when we go to court, we are going to win the case. And we have now seen it. In fact, we are very, very happy for what he has did today. And my last comment too, in fact, every day, every day we have been facing a lot of a problem with our northern region. And when we complain, nobody's seeing to our complaint. And is it that because they claim Yendi as we are opposition? Can you imagine when somebody parked his car on his house and it was burned and they have arrested people? The next day, they give bail to them. Up to now, nothing is going on. And there were some people who were allegated that they burned a kiosk and they were arrested to be jailed. So because they are NPP, that is why they're doing it.
Okay.
So we left everything to God, that we can never run away from NPP.
The battle remains the Lord, my brother. Let's take faith and wait for the judgment of the Supreme Court. I have my next caller on the line. How are you, my brother or sister? Hello?
Hello?
Yes, boss. How are you?
Fine, boss. No, I'm going to say.
Nyami Adam, by God's grace.
Fine. Boss,
yes, boss.
Patrol, Premier Abdurrahman from Idra, Market. And the airport more court one, Dana Fumina, NPP for so one, the Korean woman and the Korean lady in a yoke. And let your sister and the correct court to the person who can of Korean Madana Fumina. Send me a name and not television to the BIA canal. Your tomorrow is NPP for a mobile chrono about 2 years. They say, look like a in Jabia. I think you are some agent. As I say, you judge, you did one another for one of the election. Calm down. Will be a family of job parliamentarians. You never get us why a Sabbath parliamentarians, those in the community, everything for the Duke. You are parliamentarians, the best also with us. It's the different Yanko and what the
Thank you very much. I'll have to do an interpretation of what is said later. But Baron, welcome.
Yeah, Nana, good evening.
Good evening, my brother.
Yeah, in fact, I have 2 submissions. One, I would like to appeal to you and then the management. In fact, the time allocating to you people, in fact, it's too, what do you call it, very short.
In fairness to management, Baron, I think that, Baron, in fairness to management, I think it will have to be said that today we started a bit late. We'll apologize for that, but we'll be on time.
Oh, okay. And then the next one is about the issue at the Supreme Court. I think we are all witness to whatever that is happening. The only thing for us is to pray very hard, because we know that the evidence is very great to overturn the what do you call it, the verdict. So let us all join our hands together and then pray so hard. Thank you very much
as well, my brother Baron. These are the opinions that the people of Ghana have to share. I have my next caller on the line. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you too?
By His grace, my brother.
Yes, Bolga Atlantic, Cashman.
Welcome, Cashman.
Thank you. I think what I have to contribute on this matter, NPP people are saying that since the beginning of the case, they say we don't have case. Now, everything has now proven. Look at what Mr. Asedu Katia or Asedu what? Look at what he's saying after the course. That NPP are doing as if they are JSS students. The figures that Mr. Mahmoud Bawumia was quoting, why was he doing? So he should take time and then listen to what Mr. Bawumia has been reading.
Okay.
Now.
Thank you very much for your phone call. Now, those are the opinions and the views of the supporters of the NPP. Gentlemen, I want you to wrap up. 30 seconds each. Really, what is it that Ghanaians should look forward to in the upcoming days?
Nana Kofi, is very instructive to note that the Electoral Commission tacitly has admitted to widespread errors and probably justifying our case of massive irregularities that took place in the 2012 elections. Indeed, if you go through their affidavit, they tacitly endorse all that we have said and, attribute it to error. But exactly the errors constitute the irregularities that we're talking about. So what is the point? I think this case is ab initio, is finished, and it goes our favor if it's not sub judice, with all due respect to the court. But clearly, how we have, positioned ourselves, how we have gone ahead with the case, with the array of evidence we have put forward, by the grace of God, I don't see us losing. I think the battle is still the Lord's, and we will triumph in the courts. Indeed, if you look at the argument of even voter register alone, it is good enough to discredit the elections, because you don't go into an elections where you have different sets of data for different people.
Thank you very much.
You don't give the political parties different data and work with the different data.
I have to single out Seydou Ketia and say thumbs up to him for helping us release tension whenever we go in for a serious business like this one. I mean, back when we're in school, after you've gone to write your exams, you need to kind of release some small tension. And Seydou Ketia has been consistently assisting us with those things. It's just unfortunate that as a chief executive of a political institution like the NDC, I wouldn't expect him to engage in jokes after what has happened. But Nana, when it comes to Dr. Farijan, I felt very sad when you were presenting the documents to the camera, to think that so much, millions of Ghana cedis has been invested in an electoral process through Dr. Farijan. And with this widespread irregularities, tantamount to blatant rigging, for him not to have taken any seriousness in this thing, not to have shown up in court. And today when he was there, he was so angry, chewing on his chewing gum. Instead, he preferred to spend time on his tilapia. But at the end of the day, I thank Ghanaians that we have a man of vision and wisdom like Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, who has decided to use peaceful means, i.e. the Supreme Court, to arrive at an amicable solution to this thing.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Salam Mustafa of the NPP Communications team, as well as Eugene Mafu, have been my discussants today. I believe that the people of Ghana are being made to see the truth I want to say thumbs up to all the people at Dankwa Institute for what is being done. Salam Mustafa, Eugene, Gabi, and everybody else. I think we've done a good job at that. And so the people... for that. But, what I want to say is that when you go to sleep, before you do so, go on your knees, say a prayer for Ghana. And let's pray that justice is done in the end. My name is Nana Kofi Opondama. Good evening and good night.